Glenn. Hey, Glenn. That Razorfish guy, he's at the door knocking.
Well, hey, Billy. Well, let's let him in. We'll see what he's got to say. He's our new host. We gotta welcome our host. The first letter of the English language and many other alphabets derived from the Latin Etruscan and the Greek alphabets. The capital letter A is from the Greek alpha, which is in turn came from the ancient Northern Semitic symbol. The small letter A came from the Roman. Also alphabets. Action.
Talking
the
about
French.
encyclopedias.
Chapelle. Important German industrial city in the whole region near the Belgian and Dutch border. A spa since Roman times. It was Mr. Razorfish, Frankish Emperor Charlemagne, who has a founder of the famous cathedral, which holds his tomb. We got an action with the coronation seat of the German emperors. Frater versus Retro here. The site of two major European peace conferences. Alva, Finnish architect and designer. His area buildings. We gotta contact Frater. This one's broken too. Built at the This guy's just famous plywood purniture. But his later work was such as the dormitory on the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The Institute of guys. We're going to go now and emphasize natural materials. Maybe back up on space. You got something to talk about. We got a real problem here. Africa is a pig. Oh, we're someone. Please help borrowing. Please help him. We can't stop him. Meanwhile, in the great frontiers of space, is the new Frater versus Retro. What are the guys up to? It's the games in the games. We got the games. We got games, they're in red. We got games, they're in blue. We got the games in the games. Hey, Sergeant. Yes, Pookapi. I got your iTunes. Here it is. We got the games in the games. We got the games in the games. We got the games in the games. Got the games in the games. We got the games in the games. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! What has happened to the show? I'm Peter Graves. We first talk about the train wrecks. I agree. This is a train wreck. Sergeant, you and your song. It is driving me insane. I love it. It's got all the great segments you need for music. It's really good. Okay, I never thought the show would devolve into this. My name is the Sergeant. We have got a very interesting Frater versus Retro today. Frater, why don't you begin? Thank you, Sergeant. Apparently, I never thought this was possible, but I have gotten my hands on a NES Classic. Okay, Frater. We got to talk. First off, that thing hasn't been on shelves in months. They would get it in maybe at 2 at a time, maybe 6 at a time at most, Frater. We're talking about a bundle, a shipment size of 3 million versus a demand of 30 million. Frater, did you buy this from a reseller? Oh, Frater, you're free to just say what you wish on the show. Dark Milo totally gives the endorsement. Well, there was a guy. Frater, was it Dark Milo? Did you buy it from? Well, there was this guy. He was hooded. I don't know if he was Milo. He was hooded, but he had this mask on. Frater, it was dark Milo. But alright, I mean, that is another method I mentioned that you don't have to buy the old tech. You can just get this new stuff that is going to be fresh and nice and. Alright. Alright, let's just go on with it. Yeah. So, to begin, I think what we're going to do in this show is going to be we're going to go through each game. You open an envelope, guys.
Oh, I love envelopes. I love.
Oh, no, don't say it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I love licking envelopes. I love licking them. I like going from the right. I like going from the left.
Frater, have you been feeding him something different? Since the last episode, he's been just haywire crazy. Lately, he just hasn't been saying that much. I thought he ran out of material. But now he's just like on fire. I'm Peter Graves, and we talk about the history of fire and fire retardation, flammability, big flammability. Well, you're going to be flaming something, Mr. Graves. If you don't, calm down. Okay, so all these games, we're going to each give our impressions and feelings of each one. It will be a super retro show. This is going to be really neat. Yeah. So the first game is Balloon Fight. Balloon Fight is an amazing game. And I am absolutely mad I never had a copy of it when I was a kid, because it's an extremely addicting game. It was made by Iwata, and if there was something to remember this man by, it's this game, because it's just amazing. It's actually a great game. It's absolutely amazing. This is the way, and actually when you start playing this machine, that's the first game, and it's like, it makes sense. It's like, that is truly the first game. It's basically, for those that like Joust, that's what this game is. It's basically like Joust. So, it's just absolutely brilliant. Okay, so there's not a lot to say about it. It's very early, very basic. But there's even a mode called Balloon Flight. And with Balloon Flight, you could literally see this could translate to a phone game really quick. And it could be been made extremely addictive. It's absolutely brilliant. This was a launch title. I mean, nowadays we struggle to have more than just one good launch title, if you have any. I mean, like you said, Frater, you got the Switch, and you got Breath of the Wild, and Bomberman was pretty good, so that's two, but back then we had quite a few good ones with the NES. Yep. So next game, Bubble Bobble. Peter Graves, Bubble Bubble. Bubble Bubble is probably on biography. The opinion of biography and its writers is probably the best game ever made. I have to agree with Fruitcake here. He's absolutely right. You don't even have to, he didn't even read Wikipedia for that. He was kind of more animated last episode we played that game. I don't know, Frater, like the whole crew seems more emulate and much more better. But Bubble Bobble is a really great game. It's very simple, but it's, to have this like on here, it's just great. An arcade classic. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a great game.
I love that game. I love the concept of dinosaurs throwing bubbles at people and then crushing them to death.
I'm the sergeant here. That's weird.
Yeah, that's Pugapi. Next is Castlevania. This game, you have to understand, this NES Classic, it doesn't give you a break. Really, it just is like great game after great game after great game, and for guys our age, this is what we're into. So Castlevania is an arcade game, but it's also a very tough game. I'm not very good at it, but it's just legendary. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, but it is brutal. I have to agree. It's actually a game where it's okay to suck at because it's like you have to appreciate that because it's sort of like saying, "Look, you're welcome to my castle, but I'm going to kick your butt down the stairs because I'm Gregory Peck. Anybody's welcome to my house, but you're going to get kind of thrown around a little bit. It's like Ravishing Rick Rude throwing you around. You're going to get it. It's Peter Graves. And a history of crazy villains building crazy castles. Today we talked about this on biography. Yeah, we do talk about it. So, and then there's the next sequel, which is Simon's Quest. Simon's Quest is an open world game. It truly is an open world game. And I actually think, I remember getting this game for Christmas. And really, I loved it. It was really something different. And it, where the last game was arcade-like, this game was just open world and adventuring and taking your time and, making sure you build up your power-ups and making sure you understand what the secrets were in order to just move forward. I have beaten this game. Well, Frater, I actually think you used a Game Genie. I'm sure I didn't. Peter Graves took up the history of cheating. well, maybe I did. Boy, but that ending was weird with the Grim Reaper, Dracula, thingamabob thing there. Yeah, that was really strange. But yeah, it was an open world game. I mean, it came out around the same time as I think Zelda 2. So really, it was a pretty innovative thing going on. Yeah. So the next game is Donkey Kong. I love Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is an arcade classic. And I'm not just describing the box. That's right. I can see it.
Oh, yes. This is the original Donkey Kong arcade classic series, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the arcade series, and then it's sealed by the official Nintendo.
Okay, Pooguppy. No, but it is really a game you can go to when you just need something short. See, that's the thing is with this collection. It has short games, it has long games. There's never a moment where with this collection where you just go, there's just not something for me. If you're that person, you probably hate video games. Yeah, exactly. Another thing we need to talk about, Frater, I know I'm interrupting your show. It's okay. There's tons of interruptions. What the heck happened with the beginning of the show? What was that? What was that? You had sent a new host for the Earth crew? Down there with Billy and Glenn? This Razorfist guy, does he usually sound like that? Does he just read the encyclopedia? Something's really wrong with that. He sounded broken, didn't he?
Oh, he sounded more crazier than me.
Yeah, he did sound a lot crazier than you, Pooguppy. I don't know what's going on. I can assume, we'll try to, maybe there's like some balancing issues. Maybe they need another host, a co-host that can kind of help balance that. Maybe I can send them a new Spoonie or something. Maybe I'm getting a little better at this cloninator, and maybe send them one that's not quite as psychotic. And then they'll have like Razorfist and Spoonie, and the views will be great. Well, Frater, I hope you know what you're doing, because some of these clones don't look like they work very well. They're kind of insane. They're kind of frightening. Yeah. Maybe you should ask Dark Milo. Maybe he, the glorious leader will speak when he wishes to. He's still, recuperating, Gregory Peck, from, when you kind of beat him up about the video games and destroying our economy, and now he's being blamed for the new recession in the Empire. That's good. Oh, that's real good. I really enjoy that. Okay, back to the NES Classic commentary. Donkey Kong is really one of the best games, but Donkey Kong Jr. is also very intriguing, and one I don't think I've ever truly appreciated enough, because the way it works is it gets more harder as you keep going through each round of it. So someone playing the arcade version, and apparently it really gets really difficult. First I was kind of like, oh, this is really cool, and then it's like, okay, I just finished it. Getting kind of bored of it.
I like the idea you be a little monkey knocking fruit off chains.
You can do that, Pooh Guppy Adams. Double Dragon 2.
Well, where's Double Dragon 1?
He's got a good point for you. Double Dragon 1 isn't on there. But the real reason why Double Dragon 1 isn't on there is because Double Dragon 1 was a crappy arcade port. It sold. Obviously, I mean, Double Dragon 2, you can see the production and the value put into it. So obviously the first game sold really well, because that's all we had back then. You wanted Double Dragon, you had to buy it on the NES. You weren't going to get a better version. It wasn't some Xbox 360 version around or something. You just had to get what you get. Yeah, so basically, I remember when Double Dragon 2 first came out, and it was really a big deal. My friend got it for his birthday, and it was like, oh my goodness. There were so many games coming out, and it's like your parents just couldn't keep up with them. That's the reason why it was so interesting having different friends, because you were just like, everybody seemed to have a different Nintendo collection than you. And Nintendo was a very fascinating thing. So,
oh, don't forget, that's before Double Dragon 3. Double Dragon 3, we have the adventures of Bimmy and Jimmy.
Bimmy and Jimmy? Bimmy and Jimmy. Yeah, it's, that really happened. And Peter Graves, we talk about the history of the most classic duo on TV, Bimmy and Jimmy. Yep, it happened. Okay, next game. Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario is a game I rented from the old video store. And it's a game just like, say, Donkey Kong Jr., where I just never truly appreciated it. Truth be told, after playing it, after all these years, I like it better than Tetris. Yeah, I like the idea of attacking the viruses. And actually, I dare you to go to like level 26, and it destroys you. It just utterly destroys you. I really recommend people to find a ROM, if not go to the virtual console store and get Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario is freaking great.
Yeah, I love that. You can kill the common gold.
Yeah, and so next game is Excite Bike. Excite Bike is a really great game. You're gonna hear that a lot from me. It's almost like I'm just reading a line and I can't think of anything. But the real reality is Excite Bike was a good arcade game and was really a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a real humdinger of a game. Just amazing. You can make tracks. That was something different. Um, Poke up your ideas on this.
Oh, I can ride a bike. Let's take the Pee-wee Herman bike.
You can. You can't do that. You can do that, Pukapi.
Yep. And next game is Final Fantasy.
Which is very interesting because we just got destroyed last show in the newest version of Final Fantasy, which doesn't even remotely look like the brilliance of this first game.
This game was a it was a turn-based game, and it really is like a really huge game, and it's really not appreciated now because just the whole genre is becoming. So many others did it better in this, especially like Chrono Trigger and stuff, and so I remember a neighbor had this game, and they like treasured this game, and the thing I loved was creating your own party members. You can create their class, you can create their name. You can't do that anymore, Frater. Like those characters those are all set characters. They have their own names, they have their own class. Frater, that's not fair. I want to be Andre the Giant. I want to be whoever. Yeah. like in this version, I got us all named.
Oh, you do, Frater? That's great.
Yeah, that's right. Gregory Peck, I got you down as a black belt.
That's great. I got those military fighting skills.
And I got Peter Graves. And it's great. I love to be in video games. And then I got Pugapi Adams and
Oh, wow. That's great. I can deliver mail to the Final Fantasy world. And I hear they have great vacation time.
yeah, Pugapi. And I also got all of us and you could do that back then. I mean, people used to get creative, they used to have like Roseanne Barr and just whoever, was celebrities at that time and just absolute silliness and that's the way a role playing game should be. It should be all up to you, not anybody else. But yeah, the games now, they're just they set the tone like a movie and you're just kind of stuck. So the next game is Galaga. And this is probably my favorite arcade game. And I know that when this collection came out, they asked the question, why was Galaga on here, or Pac-Man? And I think it's because Nintendo, because this is mostly a 1980s collection, there's a couple 90s stuff in here too. But there, it was to kind of show people, the best of video gaming in the 80s, and Nintendo did actually get Galaga. They got Galaga and actually got Pac-Man.
I think that's really special because with this set you can just go right to Galaga, just have a good time. I don't know, Frater. After you got this, I think that was worth whatever you paid for. I mean, I know you like Skyrim and Fallout 4 and No Man's Sky, but those new games are a little weird to me. I mean, they're just too big, too weird. Yeah, Gregory, I have to agree. I mean, I like Skyrim and I like Oblivion and stuff, but some of those new games, but these old games are special. The next game is Ghost and Goblins.
Oh no, not that one.
that one is so hard.
Frater, it pranks you. It doesn't end.
you can go for the whole thing, and then it says, "Oh yeah, you got to do this again." Frater, this game is really hard. It's really hard. Yeah, it's impressive they added it, but it was an early game. I think it was like '86, and I got this one I think like for Christmas or something, and it just wrecked me. It gave me nightmares. It gave me nightmares about demons and all kinds of stuff. It was really kind of scary, really scary stuff. Although now, this game is like necessary for any kind of NES collection. This was Capcom. This was before they hit it big with Street Fighter, and they were doing arcade games. But yeah, it's there. It's the real deal.
I never made it far.
No, I don't think many of us did, Booguppy. Gradius. Gradius is before Life Force. It's basically the beginning of that saga, which kind of is interesting when you go back to Galaga. Galaga sort of started this kind of thing, and then Gradius was sort of the moving forward of the shooter series. Shooters were really big in the 80s and 90s, and it's pretty cool to see the shooter genre be covered just a little bit in this, but not overkill. Oh, I would have went insane. If they had like 10 of those games, I would have just went nuts on them. Because it's just like, look, 2 games get the point, okay? Exactly. And look, this collection is good, but there's going to be a bad egg. And it's Ice Climber. Oh, that game. Frater, that game is terrible. That game is so bad. It's just...
That game was kind of neat. But I kept falling for all the platforms. Is that my fault?
No, Pooguppy. This is Peter Graves. We talk about the history of, bad programming. Well, this one was also kind of made by Iwata, I think. So, we gave him praise for that last game. His next game sucked. Ice Climber. Ice Climber is pretty bad. I would argue before games, like Action 52 and a lot of these third-party games that really reeked, like Ghostbusters and a lot of the movie license games. Ice Climber is bad. It's like I tried playing it a lot today, and you fall through platforms, but you can fall through one platform, and then the next one it's like it's invisible. You'll go right for the middle of it. I'm not joking. And the jumping is like all over the place. Everybody says it. It's got bad controls. And I do understand why it's here. It's because it's an early game. It's, to document the beginnings of platforming in the 8-bit realm. So that's it for that game.
Yeah, I keep falling for the platforms.
Kid Icarus. Kid Icarus is a game that was released really around the same time as Metroid. And it's not quite open world, but it's very big. And it's to be very respected. This game has class, Frater. This game has got class. I love it. The fact they included this is like such a classy move on their part. It's got good enemies. It's got good everything. But what's best is you got the save system, so you don't have to worry, guys. You can just kind of pick through it. When you're doing good, you're doing good. When you do bad, you don't have to worry. You got a save state. Yeah.
I like the little guys to float around and go Boot, boot, boot.
Okay, that's just random. But it's Pugapi Adams. He gets a pass on this. Now, Sergeant, if you'd started talking like that, I would have to report you.
Oh, don't report me. Don't report me, the sergeant. I've been reported before. The Empire don't take kindly to reports.
Although it takes about 100 years for a report to go through.
My kind of report is scary. Okay. Kirby's Adventure. Kirby's Adventure is a game that I think my friend might have rented it once. I swear to God I remember this back in the 90s. It was a really innovative game. Oh, it's really innovative. I like all the flying. The only problem is you basically overpower everything because you're so freaking awesome. There's a real reason why this series took off the way it did. It's just, it makes the kid feel like he's like a superhero. He's just could take down anything. And it's like, this was just, for low self-esteem kids, this was the game for you. He's Peter Graves. Kirby's Adventure is probably one of the most interesting games of its time. And, well, yeah, Peter Graves, I have to agree, it's a really fascinating game, but it was a really late game. And
I like the fact that you're like a big ball of cotton candy that wrecks everything.
Yeah, definitely Pugapi Adams. Now, on to Mario Brothers, the original arcade version. Arcade port. That was always a fun game. I always liked that one. But it's a game that tricks you because at first it's so slow and boring. But you wait until about level 8, get to level 10. That's when the game just gets intense. It's intense. It's really amazing just how tense that game gets. It does. And I remember an old trailer park that had this game with like Burger Time, and I wish they put Burger Time on here, but they were probably going on. The selection of these games, they probably based it on like the top 75 selling games. And
you really got some gas. You've been belching. You've been belching like crazy. You sound like TSP.
It does sound like TSP with the snorting and the... Frater, you sure you don't want that doctor's number I gave you? What is it, Dr. Catskill? Yeah, he's a good doctor. I mean, you've been buying that anime stuff. You can maybe turn into a weeaboo or wereweeaboo or werewolf weeaboo hybrid.
Oh, you need help. But I can modify your car first. It'll go so fast. It'll be made from cinder blocks.
Well, Pugapi, he won't ever make it to the doctor. He'd just be going crazy talking about anime and anime girls and whatever, and his car will just not move. And that's all we need. And he's turning into a werewolf too. Okay. Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is thanks to Nintendo Power. Nintendo Power and really the reaction to the first game. Although if you look at the first game, it had the worst box art of all games. Oh, I remember when I bought Ghostbusters as a kid. I got to pick it out, you know, Frater? And
wait a minute.
What is it, Pugapi?
We got a continuity problem. If you're a kid, how did you film Guns Navarro to Kill a Mockingbird?
Just Sergeant here. That's a really good question. We got a bit of a problem here. Okay, Mandela effect. That's good, Frater. That explains everything. And flat Earth. Yeah, but Mega Man 2, which...
Yeah, buddy, I don't understand.
like, no.
How old were you when you...
Oh, God, you got him pook up. You had him started. You really got him started. I don't know if he's going to let this go. Listen, alright, maybe I'm not quite like that Gregory Peck actor. Maybe I'm like a clone.
It's Peter Graves here. I talk about the history of biography of the clonest parts where popular celebrities got cloned.
So, wait. Peter Graves. Is Gregory Peck a clone of the actor?
Well, yes.
Wait, you've been sitting on this all these years and you never told me?
This is Peter Graves here. You never asked.
Okay, this is really getting weird.
Well, I know I'm me, and that's good enough. But back to Mega Man 2. Yeah, okay, now, Pook, are you happy?
Oh yeah, it explains everything.
Okay, so Mega Man 2 is probably like one of the best games ever for that time. It was like the game to rent. It was really fun, and really problem is with it is it can be confused as the worst game ever. And you would say, how? It's because you think because you can only shoot in one direction, it's not fair that enemies come down on you from above and stuff. Well, see, that's it, Frater. See, you need the right boss weapon. Because there's boss weapons. But if you don't know what order to attack certain bosses, you're screwed. Well, if you even notice the front cover, I think that's Metal Man stage. And that right there is a clue. You got to start with a Metal Man, get his weapon because it's the strongest in the game, and you can breeze through the first bosses really easy. But if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, you get messed up. But I think it's a very essential game. It's really the game. Like, a lot of people ask why there's no Double Dragon. No Double Dragon. And there's only Mega Man 2. And it's because Mega Man 2 was building up the hype of the first game. First game, I'm sure, did not sell well. I think it didn't. It was sort of like, because again, it wasn't advertised well. The second game had Nintendo power to advertise it, and everyone was like, then they jumped on it. So it's, but then after that, every game was like, just, a copy of that game. So really, having just one Mega Man's enough. So then you have Metroid. And that's an open world game that's just totally legendary. Oh, it's a great game. It's a, we talked about Simon's Quest. Well, now you have Final Fantasy on here, but you also have Metroid. Metroid is a great open world game. But it's a very intimidating game. It doesn't hold your hand. You can go to an area that's way too hard for you and not know that you're not supposed to be there yet. You need some upgrades to really help you. This game is brutal. Oh, it's brutal. I played it for years in my elementary years. It's just brutal. And it's an intimidating game. I remember reading one of those Nintendo guides. And I was like, wow, this game's hard. I don't know if I want it, and I got it for my birthday or something, or Christmas or something. I forgot what the occasion. Probably a report card. It was a surprise thing, and it was like, oh. Yeah, that's right. It's like, here you go. Time to get to work. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it was really hard.
and Ninja Gaiden. Oh, Frater, you know this one. I do. Yeah, your VidMe is like covered in Ninja Gaiden videos. I was really like, you're gonna launch that every Friday. It's funny because you got all those Christian videos, but then you got all these Ninja Gaiden. It's like this guy really likes that Ninja Gaiden game, and it's just driving him nuts. It's just driving him crazy. Yeah, it's such a brutal game, but it's so needed. It's just breath of fresh air, and you know, yeah, it's such a classic.
Oh, yeah. I know. I can't even get past the first screen.
What? Pugapi, the first level is like nothing. It's kind of like it goes easy on you just to kind of trick you about how hard it's gonna get. Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's move on. Pac-Man. Now that's one I never played on the NES. I understand some people are kind of like, why have Pac-Man on here? And I think the point is again, this is partly an '80s collection, so it's trying to show that at one point Nintendo was not just the king of first-party games, but even the king of arcade games, and they ported everything, including Pac-Man and Galaga. Yeah, and also it's niche because at one point this was a tanking game, which was Atari's front to put Atari games on Nintendo, and they just got their ass handed to them. Yeah, I wish they had put Gauntlet on here, but it's a tanking game. This was actually, this particular box you're seeing, this is when Namco took over. And, Namco was no longer working with Tengen. So, that's the way it was. Oh, next game is Punch-Out. And this is not Mike Tyson. This is the second version, because what happened was Mike Tyson had turned into a complete thug lunatic. Yeah, who would have thought, a guy who punches people in the face for a living would turn into a psychopath eating people's ears and beating up his wife? Like, who would have thought that was a possibility, Frater? I mean, think of the irony of the whole thing. I mean, he was supposed to be like the new Mr. Rogers or something. Yeah.
No, yeah. I remember when he used to take garbage cans.
Oh no. Pugapi's going in a random direction.
We used to take garbage cans and throw them far in the air.
This is Peter Graves. We talk about the history of Mike Tyson. I hope Mike Tyson is watching this. We were talking about Punch-Out. And this version's sort of like the clean version, the one that doesn't have all the copyright and all the licensing. Because that's the one thing about this collection. You will notice it's tries to stay away from licensing. It just has like Square, Konami, and Capcom. So it's a legendary game, and it's I played it the other day, and gaming wise it's practically perfect. I mean, it's so fun. I love the cut your tongue, Frater. Yeah. Talk about
Yeah, you're talking about the cycles.
Yeah, finding the thingamabob.
the biography, we talk about the thingamabob.
So, next game is Star Tropics. I remember Nintendo Power covering that one. I used to think it was like a turn-based game, but no, it's actually like a Legend of Zelda type game. Very weird game for its time, because it has an overhead look, and then it goes into a Zelda style look, except for its time, and yeah, it's weird. It's really appreciated they put it on here to kind of show the diversity of the different genres of the Nintendo Entertainment System and how they really kind of went. Yeah, it's good. It's real good.
I like to find the fish. I like to find the fish.
And you will find that fish, Pooguppy. You'll find that fish eventually. Yeah, so not a lot to be said because I never played it as a kid. I didn't play it either. I just, like I said, I saw it in Nintendo Power. That was it. And then Super C. And again, the question with this and the Virtual Console, why isn't Contra 1 on here? And it's probably some weird licensing issue. There's probably something there, and they can't get the licensing or whatever. But nonetheless, Super C is awesome and super difficult.
It's like you get destroyed so quickly.
It's a game for men, Pooguppy. Like Dark Milo over there in his little Baffa tank or whatever. He's hiding in, crying in tears, reseller tears. This is the game that he couldn't handle. But I'm sure he's probably okay, I guess. It's Sergeant here. I like how neutral you are, Frater. Trying to not get into trouble, because we do like imprisoning people with an opinion. Unless they're a celebrity. Then we can't do anything about it. So then, Mario Brothers. This is the game that really started it all. What most people got with their Nintendo systems. And I remember originally playing it in the arcades. Because originally it did come out in the arcades before. So it's a legendary classic game. Then there's Super Mario Bros. 2. Oh yeah, that's I think it's really better in Super Mario 3. All the great levels and great selection. It's great. And yeah, in Super Mario Bros. 3, that's it's a good classic, good legendary game. Kind of running out of time, so we'll try to kind of wrap this up. And Tecmo Bowl, never played it, but everybody back then did. Yeah, it's a good classic football game. It was in the arcades. I played it mostly in the arcades. And then, of course, the Zelda games, 1 and 2. Frater, Zelda 2 is a mess. Well, that's all the time we have, guys. See ya. Well, it's me, Glenn Fourfinger, here with Billy. We are dealing with problems. And here he comes. Milk! A white liquid containing water, protein, fat, sugar, vitamins, and inorganic salts, which is secreted by the mammary glands of female mammals. The secretion of milk is initiated immediately after birth by the hormone prolactin. The milks produced by different mammals all have the same basic constituents, but the proportions of ingredients differ from the species and within species. If any species, the milk produces food for young until weaning. The milk is of a high nutritional value, and the man used the milk of other animals as a food. At least 5,000 years, milk for man is produced by the largest volume by cows and water buffalo, especially in India. Great milk is also produced by some areas. Particularly in the Middle East, milk is an extremely perishable liquid, which could be created. Glenn, he's really on a roll. Extremely limited 10 Celsius within 2 hours of milking, maintained at the temperature until delivery. The storage of life of milk is greatly improved by pasteurization. Because of the imperishable nature of the large milk quantities produced with the variety of products including the butter, cheese, cream, evaporated, condensed, dried milk, yogurt, milk, protein, and lactose. Milk snake. A smoking snake about 4 feet long, found in the northwestern U.S. to Mexico. His color is bright and black and yellow and young and gray and brown. Then adult. Snakes are I got him. It's right. You put him in the closet, that's where he belongs. Crazy man. Trying to play tailspin here. Really bad game. Bad game, and we got this bad broadcaster who won't stop ranting. Again, he wanted to stop. He's reading from the freaking encyclopedia. I mean, what does he think this is? I mean, he thinks this is PBS or something? In this game, it sucks. Frater, oh, you know what? I got his number. Yeah, hello, was it? Frater, what's going on with this? Look. We have been monitoring the situation here up on the ship. We understand. Oh, you just died. Okay, okay, listen. We've been monitoring the situation. Frater, this game is horrible, too. We've been monitoring that situation, too. This is a terrible game. Listen. We're getting better at the Cloninator. I'm getting better, I should say. Well, you better be getting better. Oh, okay, so listen. I'm not gonna get rid of Razor Fist, okay? Well, Frater, he's just reading from a dictionary. Okay? He's just reading from a dictionary. You know, this is crazy. Well, you know, yeah, I know, but it's like, it's ratings. You know, we really got to get you guys back on track here. You know what I mean? He makes a good point. Well, of course, you know. What we're going to do is we're sending you... Now, I got to give you a flat-up warning so you don't go, like, running screaming. Because I know what happened last time. We're sending you a new Spoonie 1. Frater. You're trying to kill us here. That guy went nuts last time. Yes. This guy is different. We found intelligence settings on the Cloninator. Things are going to get a lot better for you guys. Okay. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is crappy. This is real crappy situation. Well, your views are crap. Well, actually, yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, no, they're bad. They're real bad. We're gonna try to improve the situation, and the idea is your show is gonna be better than what we're doing in space. We really can't do much in space. I know that there's this idea that the Frater versus Retro show is quite healthy where it is in the Empire and in space. The real reality is we can't do nothing. Oh, DuckTales 2 was good. So yeah, we really can't have it much fun. We have to always get things approved, and that's not the spirit of the show. We're just sort of free-willing, and we do what we need to do. Okay, so you're clear on that. You know, we need to have you guys be better than us, and really, in a way, by doing this, you know, eventually, yeah, you guys will be the hosts, but for now you have these clones that are gonna draw in massive views, and that's what the game is. Yeah, but, well, we'll get better at Clonator, you don't need to worry. Yeah, so this new Spoonie, he's gonna be, like, really smart. He's gonna be really calm down, and, because I think with the last one, we were focusing too much on, that crazy, hilarious side, which gets good views. So, okay, see ya, guys. See ya, Frater. Man, I feel like we're just in for a ride. It really fits, guy. Well, I tell you what, if it's true, he pulls in the ratings. Okay, let's get him out of the closet. I mean, maybe there's some improvement there, and things we don't know about, and palmistry. Study of the characteristics of the hand of the purpose of the divination. Hello, the various lines of the palm are individual character and destiny. Over 4,000 years old, palmistry is a widely popular palm oil obtained from the fruit and the seed kernel of the African oil palm. It is a rich source of vitamin E, and it is used in candles, cosmetics, optically emerging lubricants, lubricants and soaps. Palm Sunday. The Palm Sunday is Easter, and the first day of the Holy Week, commemorating Christ's triumph entry into Jerusalem, riding on an ass. When palm leaves were spread in his path, leaves were blessed, carried in the procession. Palmyra, an ancient city, central in Syria. I think the views are going up. Oh, they are? The prominent Roman rule region in the 3rd century AD, in an independent state under the Zenobia. In 273, it was largely under. Okay, back in the closet. Okay. That was crazy pants. Crazy pants. That was nuts. If you think you'll he just keeps reading in the encyclopedia. Does that tell that basically people are getting smarter than because they want to hear from the encyclopedia? No, Billy, it's because people like ranting, and maybe it's because he talks so fast in real life. You really don't. Sometimes you miss whole words, you miss whole sentences, and maybe with this clone, it's just like a total exaggeration of that, you know? Like, maybe he just, like, that's it, you know? It's like, you know, it makes him sound smart, and it's crazy, crappy thing. Yeah. Well, we're playing DuckTales, though. And our problem, Billy, is that a lot of times with these Disney games, we don't have much to say, because it's just, well, except for that Tailspin game. We really beat the snot out of that thing, because we just hated it. But this game is just so good, it lets you just sit and quiet, and you're just sort of like, this is good. This is good old time stuff. I can totally understand why Frater got an NES Classic. Hey, yeah, you did. I wonder what reason this thing. Billy, unless there's an entry in his encyclopedia I saw, there is nothing to say. The thing I'm worried about is apparently that guy likes heavy metal, so he's apparently likes to do documentaries on metal. You telling me he may, yes, Billy, he may actually, start doing that on the show. But you're about video games, you need a bit, heavy metal. Well, see, that's just it. How do you tell one of these clones when to stop? I don't know. He's not that night out. It was a really good night. That was a good night. Haha. Now here to talk about some puns. There, that view's going up real well from the puns. You get it stuck. Yeah, apparently I am kind of stuck. You're not very good at Nintendo games. You're very good at Skyrim, though. Yeah, and fishing. Oh, you're very good at fishing. Okay. I think we're just about done here. So, that's it. Good night, folks. Good night.